Let's now uncomment section 15 and see what we should do. Select Control and /. Okay, now you can see that we got 3 mutator methods for us to define in line number 129, 130, and 131. So why are they mutator methods? First of all, you can see that these methods stand alone, which means we do not expect to store their return values, so they should return void. Now, do we have the same version of the same method here? They have the same name, but do they have the same number or types of parameters? It turns out they don't. Let's see. So now you can see here e1.getName. What's e1? You can right-click and say e1 and then open declaration. You can see e1 was declared as an entry. Okay, and entry class we actually got getName, and the getName method in the entry class returns a string. Okay, so now let's go back there. So now you can see that over here, when you say e1.getName, the first argument should be a string. e1.getBirthday.getMonth. .getBirthday in the entry class actually returns to you a birthday object, right? And the birthday class over there, when you say getMonth, it returns an integer, right? That's how the chain of the method call work. So you should just actually look up the definition. Okay, so e1 is an entry. Get e1.getBirthday gives you a birthday object. e1.getBirthday.getMonth gives you an integer. And similarly, if you call the getDay method on the birthday. Okay, so now the first version there, we have string, we have integer, and we have integer. And this is similar to this is same as this version here. We got name, C, integer, and integer. And this is a different version there to represent the entry that we are trying to add. So it's a name over here, and BD13 is just one of the birthday that we defined before. Just double check, right click, and say open declaration. You will see that BD13 was indeed declared as a birthday. Okay, let's go back here. So now we've got 2 versions of adding the entry, but in both cases, we're going to add an entry into the birthday book. The first version there, we're going to take a name, and then we take a birthday. So name and birthday are the 2 essential information for us to create an entry objects. And the second way of doing it is to have the name, birthday month, and birthday day. So this one is a little bit more indirect. You can imagine this. We're going to create a birthday object out of 6 and 16. And then that birthday object together with the name are going to make an entry object that we can also add. Okay, so these are the 2 versions there. So now, before I go to show you how you can do this in Java, let's go over some concept very quickly, which you should have known already, but I just go over that anyway, but you should really know that. Okay, let's go to some notes over here and see, just go over that. Okay, so now, we have a object called BB of type birthday book. Over here, birthday and book. How many attributes do we have? Let's look it up. So if you go to the birthday book class, you will see that you got 3 attributes. The first one is a constant, just the maximum capacity. Let's leave that out. And then we have entries, we got NOE, 2 attributes. And then when we first initialize the birthday book objects, we're going to create entries to be an array of size 10. And also the NOE is going to be 0. Okay, let's see how that's going to be visualized. So we have over here NOE, and we have entries. NOE initially 0. Entries is initialized to be an array of size 10. So we have 0, 1, 2, up to 9. Okay, that's the initial setup for our BB objects. So now let's try to consider 2 different versions of call to the addEntry method. Okay, in order to add entry. Let's say version number 1. So when you say BB dot add, over here you can say, let's say name A and June 16. Okay, what does this do? You can see in this case the did not create any birthday objects, which means that's something your method should really create that, and also create an entry objects accordingly. Okay, let's see what this will do. Okay, I'll just draw everything in blue to say that's the first one we do. So first of all, we're going to create a birthday object out of 6 and 16, and then create an entry object out of these 3 information together. Okay, and then we add it into the entries array. First of all, how do we create a birthday object? So it's going to be over here. So we have birthday over here, and the birthday is going to have month and day, 6 and 16, June 16. And then we're going to create an entry object that's to be added over here. That's entry, and then entry has 2 attributes. As you remember, the entry has name and also birthday. Okay, the name is going to be A over here, the string object over here, and the birthday is going to be the address of the birthday object we just created, right? Just to remind you, if you go to the entry class over here, you will see that the entry class has 2 attributes, the name and also the birthday. Okay, now, and the final step would be, we want to make sure, because NOE over here, you can think of it, is currently pointing to this particular position, which means the new entry should be stored over there. So now, because currently it's pointing to index 0, so we should store the address of the new entry object there. At the same time, we're going to update NOE to move that to the right by 1 position. And then that means increment it from 0 to 1. This means for the next entry to be added, you should store that in index 1. Okay? Now let's go back here. Let's choose another color. Okay, let me show you another one. Now, how do I add the following? Let's say I got number 2 here. So now let me first create a new birthday objects. I can say birthday, let's say BD is a new birthday. Let's say that's April 18th. And then now I can say bb dot add entry, by the way. Okay. And now I can say add entry. Now I want to add the name B, and now rather than passing 6 and 4 and 18, I can say BD. Okay, just a birthday objects. Okay. Now the client side, I'm doing a little bit more by creating the birthday objects. Now the supplier side, on the birthday book side, we're still going to do something similar. Okay. Now let's see what this one is going to do. So now this one here, when we first create BD over here, we're going to create BD over here. So BD is going to be a similar birthday object over here. So birthday. And then we have month and day. So that'll be 4 and 18. Okay. And now we also go, so now when we go to the add entry over here, we're going to create an entry out of the BD and the name. Okay, so we're going to have a similar entry objects over here, and then we have entry with name and birthday. So now the name will be just string B, okay, pointing to the string objects B. And then the birthday is going to store the address of this birthday objects. Okay, so now what's to be done is we want to make sure, now currently NOE is pointing to index 1. So now index 1 should store the address of this new entry objects. Okay. At the same time, we want to make sure we update NOE to the right by 1 position, which means from 1 incremented to 2. That means the next entry, the third entry to be added, will be stored in index 2. Okay. So now what final highlight? You can see that we're calling 2 versions of the add entry. First version over here, taking a string month, integer month, and integer day. In the second version over here, we are calling the same name, but now only 2 parameters with a string and also birthday objects. But in both cases, we're going to somehow create an entry objects at the runtime, and both of them are going to be going to contain the name and also the birthday. And the birthday object is also going to be created in a similar way. Okay, even though we give the user more flexibility about how they can add entries into the birthday. But what's really going to eventually happen is really similar between the two versions. Okay, so now that we understood this, so now we're going to go back to the Java Eclipse. So let's now define these two options quickly. So if you go to the now we're going to define addEntry both versions. If you go to BirthdayBook class, let's do that now. So let's do it after the BirthdayBook class. Okay, public mutator addEntry. Okay, over here we can have string name, and also let's do the first version here with more parameters. Or fewer parameters, doesn't matter. Let's do fewer, maybe. Birthday and birthday. Okay, so now what we can do is we simply can create an entry from this. New entry is new entry, and remember for entry there we can pass a name and also birthday, right? That's what we can do. And then after that, we had to add a new entry to the entries array. So entries array at position NOE, as we illustrated, is assigned to NE, NOE++. Okay, that's the first version. And the second version there, we can simply reuse this version that we just declared. Public void add entry. Now it's going to be more parameters. String name, integer month, integer day. And then we're going to have, let's create. So now, in order to call this method over here, we want to make sure we have a birthday object out of the month and day. Okay, let's do that first, and then we can recall. Then we can reuse it. Birthday is new birthday, month, and day. Okay, once it is done, so now we can call that. We can say, you can say this dot add entry over here. You can see name and birthday. So this one here, this dot add entry is going to call this method here as a helper method. Okay, so now you really want to maximize the code reuse in your code so that it doesn't smell. Now let's go back here and then let's see this. So now code compiles, and because we have defined the add entries, the two versions properly, it compiles, but we still got to test. But number of entries, get entries, these are the methods that we have already defined. So let's see if things will work. Okay. So now the expected output from this is something like this. So now this is what we expect. You can read the output a little bit more carefully, but I'm just going to show you it's going to work. Okay, we got 3 entries now, A, B, and C. Okay, first, second, and third. Okay, we can just go to index 0, index 1, index 2 of the get entries method. Okay, so now let's just execute the code, and you will see that that's exactly the expected output. Okay, it works. So now what we should do is to convert this into a JUnit test. So we can, to facilitate later automation. Let's go to the BirthdayBook test over here, and now we can say add test. Public void test 15 over here, and then we paste over here. So now let's do BB over here. And we're going to do a few more variables, it seems like. What about E1? Okay, let's just find out where E1 was declared before, so we can just reuse it. Okay, we got entry E1 over here. Okay, paste it here. E1 is sorted, and now we got BD13. Okay, let's go to BD13, which is here. Let's copy and paste. Okay, also we got BD01. Okay, BD01, that should be in the very beginning. Okay, so we got BD01 over here. Okay, let's also put it back. Okay, so now put it here. So now everything compiles, but we have to make sure we convert the print statement into assertions. Okay, we can say assert equals, so now the number of entries should be 3. Let's double check from the expected output. The number of entries should be 3. Return number of entries should also be 3, the size of the array of the get entries return value. Assert equals, and now we also have 3, and also over here, and almost done. So now we can say assert equals, so we got 3 of them. Okay, this one, and this one. Okay, so it's going to be different return value from the 3 entries. Okay, so now we're going to copy and paste from the expected output in just a moment. Okay, and then we have this. Okay, the first one should be A was born on January 11th. Okay, let's put it there. And the second one should be B was born on June 16th. Okay, let's put it there as well. The last one should be C was born on June 16th. Okay, so now let's execute the test. So now, so far we have accumulated 16 tests and all of them pass.